Greetings, Star Wars toy fans. This is Jim, and thank you for taking again the time to stop by my channel. Well, this customization video may bring down the displeasure and ire of some of the collectors out there. And some of you also may be asking, well, why the heck do it anyway? And that is expanding the peg size hole on the Hasbro figures so that way it fits on the vintage Kenner playsets and display cases. So for myself, most of my collection is loose, and I like to integrate my current Hasbro figures with those of my vintage Kenner line, which means put them on the play sets. And I've loved the pegs ever since I was a kid, and it just irritates the heck out of me when figures fall over. Now I realize the solution would be to get a figure stand that matches the peg size hole of the action figure, and you know, that can be done. But I'd rather have the figure be able to stand on the peg. And when my son and I get out the figures and we play with those, it makes more sense that everything is integrated. And so what I'm going to show you today is a technique if you want to do that for yourself and to see how it goes. And it makes your figure look pretty authentic as far as like it's been done in the production line. So first off, let's take a look at the peg size hole. So here is a Stan Solo R2D2, R2Y2 I think, molded after the Kenner line. And then here is a Hasbro figure. I think this is the Snow Speeder art, pre-movie artwork, and you'll see how much smaller the hole is on the bottom. There's no way it'll fit on those pegs. No way on God's green earth that'll happen. Now, in the case of this one here, this is a Rebel Trooper from the Power of the Force series. This hole I drilled out, and this hole I left the same. You can see it's got a hexagonal shape, just like that vintage-looking R2 droid did. But I just drilled this one out so I could use that on either type of peg. But I did not add a hex shape to it, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. So there are several tools that you're going to need in order to make this happen. The first off is you're going to need a propane torch. So what we're going to do is we're going to, well, I'll explain the process in a minute. The next thing you're going to need is a lighter. So you can use a match if you'd prefer to, but this is much safer. And then you're going to need a 1/8 inch Allen tool. That's preferably one that just kind of fits into a disposable screwdriver. I call it disposable because it doesn't matter to me if it got ruined by the heat, which it doesn't. Some other tools that you will probably want to have on hand, a pair of needle nose pliers. You can use regular pliers, but these will work much better for what we're talking about today. A drill bit slightly smaller than 1/8 inch, so that way you can clean out any excess that may plastic after it's heated up. And then an X-Acto knife with a very sharp blade, so that way again you can clean up any excess should you want to do that. Now I have here some customs that have turned out absolutely marvelous, and I'll show those to you right now. So here's two Hoth troopers, and when you look down at the bottom, notice how they have nice clean hex shape. Really pleased with how that turned out. Both of those had been pre-drilled holes, kind of like the way this one is. So I'm going to show you both ways. I'm going to show you what you can do. You can either pre-drill the hole and enlarge it, or you can take an existing hole and try it that way too if you'd rather not try to drill it out ahead of time. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on the torch. Now this happens to be MAP gas. You don't need anything quite that hot. You can just use regular propane. Make sure it's on a nice stable surface. Get that going. And now what we're going to do is we're going to heat that tip up enough that it's going to melt into the shape of the plastic. And you can choose to make the hex have a flat edge. Oops, almost dropped him. Have a flat edge going towards the toe, or you can use the angle edge of the hex going towards the toe. I'm going to use the angle edge. So we're going to heat that up. Hopefully that's in the camera there. I can't really tell. No, not really. Okay. And I'm going to take off my glasses because being over 50, I see much better with them off, being nearsighted. So that should be hot enough. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to make the hole that I drilled hex shape. We're going to make the point go up, and then we're going to shove that in and just keep it there. Now this is where the pliers come in handy. Okay, so you notice it's stuck in the foot, and that's kind of what we want. And we're going to bring that back, and now we have a nice hex shape to the heel. Now we'll take this one and we'll do exactly the same thing. Now the pliers are because this thing's dang hot, and you don't want to burn your hands touching that. Okay, so we're going to heat that up again. It looks like it has a flat side on top, but we're just going to use the point. We're going to shove that in. I'm going to leave it there, let it set. Okay. If you pull it out too soon, you may get some melted plastic, and look at that. Okay. Now we're going to shut it off. And now let's take a look at how he stands. Nice. Real nice firm footing on there. In fact, let's turn it upside down. Check that out. So now you know what you can do in order to expand the hole on your figures and have a nice, clean, professional look. Now there's a little bit of melted surface on here, and that's why you may want to take the X-Acto knife and trim that back just a bit. And if you're really picky, you can end up painting the inside of that. Now, just in case the bit happens to get some plastic on it, what you'll want to do is to clean that off with some with a wire wheel. And you can either use a Dremel wire wheel, you can use a wire wheel brush, or if you have like a bench grinder wire wheel, you can use that as well. Well, I hope you found this video useful. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. And please also feel free to leave some comments in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and you haven't considered joining, please consider joining. Love to have you on board. Take care, and we'll see you in another video.